Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel English with Bhavani. Today we will learn about writing invitation replies, both in formal and informal invitation. We will also learn today about accepting an invitation and refusing. So today we will learn four things. We will learn reply of formal invitation when we have to accept it or refuse it, and similarly we will have to learn reply of informal invitation when we have to accept it and refuse it. So directly picking up the question from the sample paper uploaded on CBSE site, you can simply see here that 2a talks about you will have to respond to accept the invitation in about 50 words. So there will be an internal choice. Yesterday we talked about writing invitation both formal and informal. Today we will talk about how to give the reply of that invitation. So first of all, invitation reply, again 1 mark is for format, 2 for content, 1 for organization of ideas and 1 for accuracy. Now what are the features for writing a formal reply? So formal reply can be written in form of a letter and in form of a note, both. But as in this question we had to design an invitation in form of a formal letter because it was given to an individual, so that is why here the reply will also come in form of a letter. So let us try to find out that what are the important features of formal reply in letter type. So first of all, we will have to acknowledge the invitation, expressing our gratefulness or thankfulness. We will also have to express thanks in third person. If someone else is replying for the invited, then we will have to use first person if the invited is replying themselves. Now mention acceptance or regret, but if you are unable to attend or unable to accept that invitation, you will have to give very specific reason for that. Your language should be very polite and very formal. Now these are some of the characteristics of formal replies. Acknowledge the invitation, express thanks in the third person, that is to say we will have to use Mr. and Mrs., they, their. Mention acceptance or refusal with specific reason in case of refusal. Okay, we should have to be very brief and we should have to be very specific because here we are talking about the formal invitation reply. Now, as I told you that if the invitation is formal in the form of a card, then we will have to give the reply exactly in the form of a note. But if it is in the form of a letter, then we will have to give the acceptance reply also in the form of a letter, as you can see it here. Now here you can see that what we have to write in the formal invitation when we have to accept that offer. So here you just see the third person, Mrs. Manjula Bajaj thanks Mr. Rohit, President Literary Society, for his kind invitation. So in the very first line we have acknowledged the invitation and we have expressed our gratefulness. Okay, so you just see here that let me take the pen. Okay, it is actually I will have to just enlarge it and now it will work. Okay, so you just see here I was talking about that we will have to in the very first line acknowledge the invitation, and here you can see that here we are talking about he is thanking for his kind invitation to organize the workshop on creative writing. Similarly here we talked about that we will have to express the thanks in third person. Here you can see that here Mrs. Manjula Bajaj thanks, that is to say simple present tense, Mr. Rohit, again third person. So we are following the format. Now mention acceptance or refusal. So this is accepting. So here we are simply writing has great pleasure in accepting it and confirms her presence. Now you again see here the use of third person at the venue on the scheduled day. So this is how. So first of all, you will have to start by giving acknowledgement. You will have to thank, okay. Then you will have to use the third person, okay, and you will have to directly accept the invitation by mentioning the venue, that yes, you have gone through the invitation. So this is how you will have to write. Mrs. Manjula Bajaj thanks Mr. Rohit, President Literary Society, for his kind invitation to organize workshop on creative writing on 24th Feb at 10 am and has great pleasure in accepting it and confirms her presence at the venue on the scheduled day. Now, for example, if you have to refuse the formal invitation, then again the things are quite similar. First of all, third person, then you will have to acknowledge and thank Mr. Rohit, and then you will have to talk that what they are going to organize on what date. Now here you will have to use the word but or however. So you can use here the word but or however when you are writing refusing formal invitation. However, is it? Because here you are contrasting. You are happy to receive but you are unable. So here we have written but regrets. Again you just see the language is simple present tense. Her, third person, inability to attend. Now you will have to give a reason, and that reason should be very specific and brief. So simply you will have to write down that due to prior engagement, please accept my refusal. Polite request, humbly. So language should be very polite. Best wishes, you will have to give the wishes although you are not attending the function of the workshop. So just 4 lines. Mrs. Manjula Bajaj thanks Mr. Rohit, President Literary Society, for his kind invitation to organize workshop on creative writing on 24th Feb at 10 am but regrets her inability to attend due to prior engagement. Please accept my refusal humbly. Best wishes for the success of workshop. Now, for example, you will have to write it in the form of a letter. So the things which we have to change is that first of all we will have to put the sender's address here, the person who is writing the letter, okay, and you will have to write down with thanks, and here you will have to write down your name. So again the content is quite similar. Third person, Mrs. and Mr. Sharma have present tense great pleasure in receiving the invitation. That is to say the first step of acknowledgement. From whom? From Mrs. and Mr. Sujoy Das for the marriage. So purpose also you have written. It indicates that you have gone through the invitation. Okay, you have mentioned the date and the venue also, but you are unable to come. But in this you have given your acceptance. So they, again you just see the third person, they confirm their presence on the occasion. So this is a very simple formal reply accepting the invitation. Now, for example, you want to refuse. Similarly, in the letter format, you will have to write down the address. You will have to write down with best wishes from Mrs. and Mr. Sharma. You will have to write down all the things quite same. Thank Mrs. and Mr. Sujoy Das for invitation. That is to say, here you are acknowledging the invitation. Then you have gone through the content. That is to say, it is for the marriage at place Abhinandan Hotel. But, and here we have used however, they express. You don't have to write down I express or we express. You will have to use the third person. They express their inability to be present on the occasion. Again you will have to give a specific reason and simply write down these 5 letters due to prior engagement. So this is the simple refusal. Now let us talk about replies to informal invitation. Up to now we have talked about invitations which were in formal format, in card and in letter. Now we will have to talk about the informal invitation and how we will have to refuse. Simply, first of all, they should again be acknowledged, but here in the first person. Mention the acceptance or regret. If you are regretting, simply you will have to write down unable to come, okay, because of prior engagement. Do not use formal expression because here you are writing it like an ordinary letter, and use friendly and simple language. So this is what is the format exactly of acceptance reply to an informal invitation. You just see here you have written the address, okay, sender's address, then you have written here the date, and you just see the personal touch in the acceptance reply with the word dear Aniket, many thanks, acknowledgement and thankfulness for invitation to the success of your son for your IIT entrance examination, okay, at your residence. Just wait, okay, at your residence. And here you just see the first person, use of first person. I will be delighted to enjoy the moment of your success celebration by joining you at that day. In case, again you just see first person, I can be of any help, because the language should be informal. Do write to me unhesitatingly, because you are writing it in a very friendly tone, and you are sincerely or you are lovingly, you will have to put your name. Now for example, if you are refusing, all the things are quite same, address and date, salutation, dear. Now congratulations on getting success. Again first person, I would have loved to join. Now this line clearly indicates that in the coming line you are going to refuse. So that is why here you have used the word but. I will not be able to attend the moment of celebration. Again the simple explanation for not attending due to my preoccupied engagement. Earlier we had used the word prior, P-R-I-O-R, prior. Now here we are using the word preoccupied. So again you will have to give the best wishes, yours sincerely, and you will have to write down your name. So this is the simple format, and in nutshell I have tried to give you a glimpse of exactly what and how you will have to write down invitation reply for formal and informal invitations. Thank you for watching my video. You can just go through this video on my YouTube, English with Bhavani, and also on my website with the same name, englishwithbhavani.com. Thank you. Please share and subscribe.